Okay, hello everyone. Back here with another Pillars of Eternity guide. In this one, we're going to take a look at skills and we're going to take a look at character talents that are like, talents are kind of a thing that any character can choose from. They're not, class specific or anything like that. And neither are skills. Skills are also not class specific at all either. But obviously you get points in certain skills from your classes and from your backgrounds, which helps further increase those skills faster because you already have a little bump in them. So let's start with skills. There's not a whole lot of skills in this one. In Pillars of Eternity 2, there's a lot of skills. And I love the way Pillars of Eternity 2 does it. But we're going to stick with what we're looking at here for right now. So here we go. So it says at first level, characters have only their class's inherent bonus to 2 skills plus your background, right? These bonuses are always considered when calculating the character's total skill value, but they are not counted when the character advances their skills. Each level after first, the player gains 6 points to spend towards upgrading their skills. It's worth noting that points can't be stored for later, and that spending points might not elevate a skill to its next highest level. It's worth noting that points can't be stored for later. That's worded wrong. I believe if you level up a character and don't use skill points, you will have those points when you level up your character next time. Because sometimes you have to wait to be able to upgrade your skill further. So I don't know why it's worded like that. Maybe I'm misreading it. I don't know. Okay, so you've got the skills that each class starts with. So Barbarian gets 2 points of athletics, 1 point of survival. Chanter gets 2 points of lore, 1 point of mechanics. Cypher gets 1 stealth, 1 lore, 1 mechanics. Druid gets 1 lore and 2 survival. Fighter gets 1 athletics, 1 lore, 1 survival. Monk gets 1 stealth, 1 athletics, 1 survival. Paladin gets 2 athletics, 1 lore. Priest gets 1 athletics, 2 lore, the reverse of each other. Rangers get a stealth and 2 survival. Rogues get a stealth and 2 mechanics. And wizards get 2 lore and 1 mechanics. So I have found it easiest for me to have a character focus on 2 skills. And really, I mean, you don't get to use your party skills in conversational things. So like, each skill is going to do a thing outside of conversation, but there are skills that do things in conversation, and those skills can only come from your character, your main character. In Pillars 2, it's different, but in Pillars 1, they have to come from your character for conversational. So I always like having a character that does lore, because there's so many dialogue options for lore that I feel like I'm missing out if I don't have it. But you can have your character do anything. So don't feel like you have to do lore or other conversational ones. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, I usually have each character do 2 skills. And for most characters, like companions, I have them focus on 1 skill that's like an actual used skill. So like stealth, athletics, lore, mechanics, something like that. And then I have them do survival. I try to have everyone do survival if I can, because of what it does for you. And so let's talk about what these skills do. So stealth allows the player and or the party to move near an NPC without being detected, whether to slip by a guard unnoticed, to surround a group of enemies in order to make a sneak attack. These situations call for the use of the stealth skill. Now, stealth skill, important for rogues, maybe rangers even. I don't know that any other class really needs stealth. It's just a matter of like what you want to do for your character. But rogue, there's a lot of stealth related abilities, so you're going to want stealth for a lot of those abilities there. Okay, athletics allows characters to jump, climb, swim, or run exceptionally fast. There are certain like skill interactions and conversational things that you can do with athletics. Climbing walls, jumping over a chasm, or diving deep into a section of a river to investigate a glint at the bottom would all be covered by athletics. In combat, athletics impacts how much fatigue a character can endure before suffering skill penalties. And it also gives you a second wind ability, which you can use to kind of give yourself a little bit of a heal every now and then to your endurance. So frontliners, tanks, all great for athletics. Honestly, any character can have athletics, and it's useful, in my opinion. Lore represents accumulated miscellaneous knowledge, trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversations, lore is used to activate scrolls. So the higher lore you have, the higher level magic scroll you can use. I haven't messed with scrolls too much, to be honest. I just kind of focus on the spells that I have. It's hard in a real-time with pause game. For those of you that have played Pillars and Pathfinder, you know this. In a real-time with pause game, it's kind of hard to remember to do stuff like scrolls, bombs, potions, and things like that until you desperately need them, because you're kind of just trying to go quicker, right? You kind of are a little rushed a little bit. In a turn-based, it's easy to focus on everything that you have. But on real time with pause, it's a lot harder. So I always end up forgetting about scrolls. So I never give anyone lore besides the main character. But for a priest or a wizard, lore would be good. A chanter, lore would be good. Anyone that you just want to have work with scrolls, lore is useful. Mechanics is your trickery, your disarming skill. Disarming traps, disarming doors, disarming chests, any type of unlocking anything, that is mechanics. You should have a person dedicated to that skill. No one else needs it at all. Don't put mechanics points into anyone that isn't going to be your unlocking person. It is a waste of time, a waste of skill points, better spent on something like athletics or survival. Survival is a skill of measure of how knowledgeable and capable a character is in the wilderness setting. It can be used to identify creature tracks or remains and create consumable items from natural ingredients. Survival helps with crafting different things from ingredients. And there is crafting in this game. You can craft potions, you can craft food, and you can craft scrolls. And then you can enchant weapons and armor. So that's all important stuff. Survival is also used for camping. So when you camp, you get to choose different bonuses that your different characters get. The more survival you have, the more options for different camping bonuses you will get. So camping can be damage reduction overall. It can be bonuses towards attacking certain different subtypes of enemies. There's lots of different options for that. So that's what survival is going to do. So that's why survival and athletics are good ones to have for anyone who isn't doing another of those dedicated skills like stealth, lore, mechanics. And then you can kind of just dish those out wherever. Mechanics, literally, your trap person is mechanics. No one else is. You literally just don't need it at all. It's not worth it. Lore, good for scrolls. If you don't really care about scrolls, you're not going to use it for your main character, then you don't really need it. But these are the skills, and don't forget that your backgrounds will contribute to these skill placements as well, because they give you points in certain skills. Where is that? Okay. Let's take a look at... We kind of looked at backgrounds, but I just wanted to kind of give you a quick show again. So, aristocrat, artist, colonist, clergyman, dissident, drifter, explorer, philosopher, hunter, raider, laborer, scholar, mercenary, scientist, merchant, mystic, slave. And they all give skill bonuses. They'll give 2 points of bonuses, either +1 to 2 different skills or +2 to a skill. Okay, so we talked about skill advancement. Here is... So here's your XP for leveling up, and then bonuses to all defenses and accuracy. The level up goes beyond 12 with the DLC. You can go higher level. Here's your spells per level. Talks to represent a shift to per encounter uses. Yeah, so here's your spells per level here. So this is your character level. This is the level of spell up here. Okay. Now we're going to talk about talents. These are non-class specific talents. There's a lot of them. We're going to try to go over them quickly. There's some different categories of one, so I'm going to go by category. So the first one we're going to look at is weapon focuses. So weapon focuses will give you additional accuracy into a certain weapon set, and I think that's a really cool way of doing weapon focus, because like in Pathfinder in Pathfinder, you get weapon focus for one weapon. So you have to use that weapon the whole time. But in this one, you get accuracy for all of the weapons in the set. And so you can kind of switch between those different ones as you want. And that's, they're like themed too, which is, I think, just fascinating. So, weapon class. Okay, so first we have the Ruffian, which is the saber, stiletto, club, pistol, and blunderbuss. Alright, yes, there are pistols and blunderbusses in this game. They are fantastic. I love a good pistol wielder, and rifles are also great as well, honestly. Weapon focus knight is battle axes, swords, morning stars, and crossbows. Okay, we're gonna skip Secrets of Rhyme because I want to try to find the different weapon focuses, because that's what we're gonna focus on first. Okay, I see a couple. So weapon focus, noble is dagger, rapier, mace, scepter, and rod. Scepter and rod are magical weapons. They like shoot magical blasts. That's what they do. There are also wands that do like magic as well. Wands is like the fastest one. Rod is the next, and then scepter I think is the slowest one, if I'm correct. But it does the most damage, right? Weapon focus adventurer: poleaxe, estoc, flail, wand, and warbow. Very cool. I feel like there's another one, at least, maybe two. We just have to find it, don't we? I found one. I think that's it. Okay. Weapon focus peasant: hatchet, spear, quarterstaff, hunting bow, and unarmed strikes. So those are the weapon focuses. Those categories. I personally... Wait, is there no rifle? No, there's rifles. Did we find rifles? Am I going mad? Weapon focus soldier. Here we go. Greatsword, pike, warhammer, arbalest, and arquebus. So the arbalest is like a different type of crossbow kind of type weapon, and an arquebus is your rifles, which I love. I really want to make a rifle character in my next one because I haven't really messed with it too much besides companion characters. But rifles, they take forever to reload because these are like weapons that you use, like the old like rifle balls and pistol balls, and you like put them in and like shove the stopper in there to like get it in there and then shoot. So it takes a while to reload, but rifles are so cool though. I love it. I would love to be a rifle ranger. That might be kind of fun. Okay, next we're going to talk about the elemental feats, or talents. Sorry, feats. I'm in Pathfinder mode. Talents. So there's different elemental feats that will give you damage reduction and also increased damage of that element type. So the first one is Secrets of Rhyme, which is freeze. Okay, so you'll have freeze for damage reduction and additional freeze damage. All right. Let's see if we can find the other ones. These are just organized in a really weird way. I think it's just like some of it doesn't even make sense how it's organized, but that's okay. Scion of Flame does fire, damage reduction, and burn damage. Very good. Heart of the Storm is your shock damage, which is super cool. And then Spirit of Decay is your corrode damage, or otherwise your acid, right? That's your corrode, your acid. Very, very cool. Now we're kind of just gonna go down the list now and talk about like what other things are. Okay. All right. So some of these are class specific and some of these are not. They didn't organize this right because like it says non-class specific talents and then it goes right into talents that are kind of class specific. So whatever. Okay, you've got Greater Lay on Hands, which modifies Lay on Hands. Now I believe you can take a Lay on Hands feat. Let's see if that's true. Talent, maybe. Is Lay on Hands one that you can take, or is it just a paladin thing? Because if it's just a paladin thing, it's a really weird thing to put on a non-class specific thing. Yeah, some of them seem to be categorized as non-class specific, but they're definitely class specific. Okay, so you have Greater Lay on Hands, which modifies Lay on Hands to make it stronger. You've got bonus spells, bonus first level, bonus second level, bonus third level, bonus fourth level. Okay, you can get bonus spells for any type of spell casting. So wizard and priest, wizard and priest, and maybe chanter. Interrupting blows gives you plus 15% interrupt chance with your attacks. Nice if you want to be that kind of character. You've got Bloody Slaughter, which is a plus 20% of hits converted to crits against targets with low endurance, and then additional crit damage multiplier. So really heavy critting for like heavier fighters. Quick Switch, if you want to like quickly switch your weapon or your grimoire. The grimoire is the book that a wizard will use for spells. Dangerous Implement works for wands, scepters, and rods. It increases the damage done, but it also does raw damage to you when you use it as well. Sanctifier is additional damage against vessels. Vessels in the game are kind of like they're like these kind of like armored creatures that are vessels. It's basically like a roaming body without a spirit in it, essentially. And Venom Strike, you can deliver poisonous strikes that does raw damage over time, which is pretty cool. Okay. Unstoppable gives you defense against blinded attacks, dazed attacks, hobbled attacks, prone attacks, and stuck attacks. So you gain defenses against those conditions: blinded, dazed, hobbled, prone, and stuck. One-handed style gives you grace to hit range with one-handed melee weapons. So basically here's how the attacking works in this game is you have grazes, you have misses, okay, which can be converted to grazes, and grazes is like kind of hitting them, and then grazes gets converted to hits, and then hits can get converted to crits. So this gives you a grace to hit conversion for one-handed melee weapons. Two-weapon style so it gives you additional dual-wield attack speed. Wound Binding gives you 80 health over 9 seconds, and yes, this is health, not endurance. So it's that longer term injury line of defense, and I always take Wound Binding if I can. Wound Binding and Field Triage are both great, cannot go wrong. Bear's Fortitude gives you Fortitude. Devastating Blow gives you modifies Finishing Blow. Okay, modifies Finishing Blow, which I believe is a barbarian thing. So it gives you a better finishing blow. Marksman, +5 accuracy against distant enemies. Arms Bearer gives you an additional weapon set. Two-handed style gives you damage with a two-handed weapon. Accurate Traps gives you accuracy with your traps. I've never played a trap character either. That might be fun too. Vulnerable Attack gives you less melee attack speed, but more melee DR bypass. So you sacrifice attack speed for increased damage reduction. Okay. For increased damage reduction. Okay. Two-handed styles in here again. What the heck? That's their bad. Body Control gives you defense against paralyzed, petrified, sickened, stunned, and weakened. Wilder Hunter gives you damage against wilders. Snake's Reflexes gives you reflex. Potent Potions gives you 25% potion effectiveness. Okay. Cautious Attack. You attack from a defensive posture, taking care to never expose vulnerable openings. From this stance, characters receive a penalty to speed, attack speed, but increase their deflection. You got Closed Shooter. Increase the character's damage with ranged weapons against nearby targets. Ghost Hunter, so damage against spirits. Hold the Line increases the number of enemies you can have engaged with you. Great for tanks. Savage Attack gives you less accuracy but more melee damage. Superior Deflection increases your deflection. Gunner gives you reload speed with guns. Anyone using a gun, take this because reloading takes forever. And it works for crossbows and arbalists as well. So, Field Triage gives you health. And this Wound Bindings for yourself, and Field Triage you can use on an ally, which is really, really cool. And it really increases the amount of time you can go before you have to rest again if you have multiple characters that take these abilities. Careful Retreat gives you defense when disengaging from attackers. Mental Fortress gives you defense against charmed, confused, dominated, frightened, and terrified. Weapon and Shield Style gives you shield deflection bonus and also applies to reflex. Shot on the Run gives you ranged recovery when moving, so that's how long it takes you to recover from moving before you can take your shot. Primal Bane gives you 25% damage against primordials. Penetrating Shot decreases attack speed but gives you ranged DR bypass, so you can really penetrate people with your shots. Let's see, you got Blast. Generates a blast on the target when using a wand, rod, or scepter. So your basic attack with those weapons becomes a tiny little AoE, which is really cool. Beast Slayer, damage against beasts. Fast Runner gives you move speed and defense against when disengaging. Powerful Traps gives you trap effectiveness. I'm really considering being a trap character. I think that might be really fun. 2 weapon style, we already looked at. I don't know why it's there again. Deep Pockets gives you 2 quick item slots. I think you start out with either 3 or 4 quick item slots. So having bonus quick item slots is really nice. So you have more things that you can just use in the middle of combat. And then Bull's Will gives you +10 to your will. Right? So these are the talents. You've also got your Watcher talents, which are granted to you as you progress through the game. So we're not going to go into those because spoilers. But those are the talents. I hope those have given you some idea of what kind of characters you can make. It's cool that they kind of allow anyone to take any of those talents, because then you can really make your character into whatever you want, which I think is really, really fascinating. Like a wizard could take soldier weapon focus if they wanted to, and like focus on using those weapons if that's how they wanted to play. So it's really interesting, like the different combinations you can make. I quite enjoy it. Yes. So, like I said, you can do scrolls, food. There's lots of different things to craft. I'll let you guys discover those for yourselves. A lot of fun stuff there. That is Pillars of Eternity talents and skills. I really wanted to dive into those because I think one of the hardest parts for me of playing Pillars is finding out which talents to take. And you can respec your character in a game if you want to kind of test things out, but it's really difficult to find out like exactly what you want to do, or exactly like what works well with each other, party composition, stuff like that. So hopefully this video has helped any of you that are playing or want to play learn about what kind of talents you have the options for, what kind of skills there are, what those skills can do, what those talents can do. And we'll be going into what kinds of things I would do for certain classes when we do class videos. But they're all suggestions. You should totally do whatever you want, do something crazy, you know, whatever suits you. But yeah, Pillars of Eternity, great game. Excited for the next little guide that I get to do for you guys. I'm UnsungNPC, and I will catch you guys in the next one.